In this presentation, I would like to take a look at the installation of the valve cover onto your Honda GC series that use a glue-on RTV type valve cover, the ones that don't take a gasket. Let's take a look at the expectations real quick before we jump into this lab. The timing must be completed before proceeding to this step, otherwise I really have no means of verifying if it's correct. You must have assembly lube on all of your valve train components, so everything that we've detailed here in the previous videos needs to be taken care of. All of your surfaces must be clean and free of old RTV and any grease, dirt, oil, anything like that. Otherwise, we're not going to have a good seal. We're going to have a big oil leak when we put oil in the engine. Lastly, the RTV, depending on the type you use, will take about 30 minutes to set up. So we apply it, we stick the parts together, and then we put the bolts in finger tight, and then in about a half hour, we finish with the final tightening of the bolts. And that keeps too much of it from oozing out and causing problems on the inside of the engine. Again, that is manufacturer specific depending on the type of RTV that you're using. Let's go ahead and take a look at the engine. So before we begin, we're going to apply some solvent here to a towel. We're going to wipe this surface down real good, and that way we don't have any wax, grease, or oil, anything that's going to cause adhesion problems with the RTV. Next, we'll grab our valve cover, and I did get this guy cleaned up real nice. I did also manage to pound that dent out, so it looks like it fits super nice. So I'm going to run it and give it another go. I'm going to take my Permatex Ultra Black, because it's what I have on hand, and I like to put the RTV on the block. I think Honda actually specifies in the manual for you to install it. Wow, this stuff's a little bit thick. For you to install it on the valve cover, but each to their own. These two surfaces go together. You're going to put a bead on the inside, just like we are here. That is the width of the little flange surface that they gave you. Make sure you go to the inside of the bolt holes. Check for any gaps. Everything looks pretty good. Like that. Then we will place the valve cover and give that about a half hour. I'm just going to put the bolts in it here kind of loosely, finger tight, to keep the valve cover from falling off. Again, read the directions on your product to see what the sit and wait time is. I think like Permatex Right stuff is pretty much instantaneous. I think you have to assemble within a minute and torque immediately on that sort of stuff. So while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and reread those instructions. So we're in luck. Ultra Black says to assemble immediately, so I have threaded all of these in essentially finger tight. Here we'll tighten them down. Don't need to go crazy. And there we are. This has been a look at how to install the valve cover on your Honda GC series engine.